Good morning. It is Thursday. All right. So today, I am talking about you better get used to not being used to things. I can't even say that without laughing. Getting used to not getting used to things. That sounds so ridiculous. But it's true. You got to get used to not being used to things. In this universe, I don't know how anybody can come up to any other conclusion other than all things will change. You cannot get used to something because it will change. Everything on this planet is designed to change. Whether it's a tree going through its cycle of producing leaves and fruit to not producing anything. It's a change. And you can't get used to something because it won't be there forever. Even love will not be there forever in the manner of, or I should say in the sense of the level of love that you're experiencing. Some may have love for you and grow even more love for you. So the amount of love that you had in the beginning isn't going to be the same amount of love that you have in a different moment, in a year, 5 years, or 10 or 20 or 50 years from now, even 2,000 years from now. Even more so in the spirit world, because as people progress, they develop more love. Therefore, they develop more love for you. And so the level of love that you once experienced isn't the same anymore. So all things will change. So you cannot get used to something, but we love to get used to things. We are creatures of, okay, people behind me. We are creatures of comfort, and we like to experience comforts. And why did this come up? What was it? I don't know what it was. I can't remember, but I know it was, when it came up, I was cracking up. I know I was in the kitchen, and I just fell out laughing because it was like, you know what? All things change. You know, like when I was a kid, you know, we lived in, we were on welfare and lived, in an apartment, and we've lived in rooms before. So all those things, it didn't stay the same. It changed. The jobs that you've had, some people have always had the same job. Some people have shifted from one job to the next because all things change. Even if you're at one company for a long, say they've been working for this place for 30 years, even the jobs and the things within it, or the duties within the job, they all change. It all changes. Protocols change, policies change. Everything is always constantly changing. And so we have to get used to even relationships. Relationships come, they go. They come, they go. They come, they go. It's what happens. Friendships, like I said yesterday, friendships, they end. They come and they go. And you have to be okay with it. And even yesterday, like I said, I have no friends. And I kind of want to clarify it, but I kind of don't, because I meant what I said. I don't, in the sense of what people believe friends to be. I don't have any of those types of friends. There isn't anyone in my life that I am pandering to. I don't know if other people are pandering to me. Well, I kind of do, but that's on them. It doesn't mean that I reciprocate. But yeah, all things change, and so it's good to get into the habit of understanding that whatever you're experiencing isn't going to last forever. It isn't going to last forever. Even the relationship, even your marriage is going to change. It's going to develop into something else. It may grow into something more strong. It may dissolve. It may turn into a thing of where you're no longer loving one another, but you're arguing and fussing and fighting and maybe possibly even beating one another. Everything changes, people. Everything changes. So whatever you're used to, don't get used to it. Because that's going to be one of the biggest things that you have to experience that's going to be painful. Because when we get used to something, we tend to... this is interesting. Because let's say your parents die, right? My parents, they're both gone. And I didn't have both my parents at the same time. So, that's funny. Meaning I didn't grow up with them together in the same household. Of course, I had the same parents at the same time. This lady behind me is really getting on my nerves with this bullshit she's doing on her phone and breaking hard. All right, so, okay, so yeah, I didn't grow up with both my parents in the same household, but some people have, and they're used to that, and they're comfortable, and mommy and daddy are there the entire time. Whether the relationship is good or bad, mommy and daddy are there, and that's what they're used to. And when mommy and daddy both go, they pass away and they go on into the spirit world, they're heartbroken. And their whole life changes. And the thing is with love is different than untruths. And this is interesting because if it's loving, it can last as long as you want it to last. If it's unloving, it will dissolve. It always does. It always does. Relationships built on falsehood, they at some point dissolve. Even if it lasted, let's say 50, 60 years here on earth, and you die and you're in the spirit world and you learn the truth, you learn that the person was feeding you a bunch of bullshit the entire time. For instance, a woman can be married to a man for 40, 50, 60 years and never know that he was cheating on some woman named Eleanor, whoever the hell Eleanor is, but that could be a thing. And then she passes away and she finds out the truth. That relationship has dissolved. It's done. She can't forgive him for all those years until she can forgive him. But what I'm saying is it ends. Because when you pass, you can still maintain the relationships. Let's say that mommy and daddy died together. They were in a car accident. Now they're both in the spirit world. That relationship can maintain. It can be sustained in the spirit world. But it can also dissolve. So it just really depends on what it is. But when it comes to love, if it's loving, if the two people have passed away, let's say they were in a car accident, they both passed away at the same time, and there was nothing but love for one another, and there was no infidelity or anything like that, that relationship will grow stronger. Especially if it's the soulmate, that's the person you're going to be with forever. And at some point, you're going to come together, and you're not even going to know that you're separate from one another, because you literally are both of those people. Oh my gosh. So when it comes to love, the chances of it going away and dissolving, no. But the chances of it staying together and evolving into something more strong, yes. But if it's based on lies, you can forget it. It's going to dissolve, because this is a universe of love. So everything that is not love will dissolve. It will fall away. All the relationships that you have made, and for instance, the one that I was talking about yesterday, it dissolved because it wasn't found on it wasn't based on truth on my part and his part. So it had to be dissolved. He wanted something I wasn't going to give. He knew I wasn't into it, but he kept pursuing. I wanted to be in his company because he was a doctor and I wanted to become a psychologist myself, so I overlooked it. So the foundation of truth wasn't there on both of our ends, and so it dissolved. All things will dissolve if it's not based in truth. If truth isn't something that is coming from both sides, it's going to dissolve. It's going to dissolve. It's going to become painful before it dissolves, but it will dissolve. It cannot be sustained in this universe of love because there's no love in it. So don't get used to it. Don't get used to it. Understand that it's going to fall away and fall apart. And it gives you, and then you have another opportunity to build and forge another friendship in the same manner or in a different manner. And depending on what your soul condition is, you'll be able to forge a relationship that's based in truth on both sides. Which is ultimately what you want, or what we want, for the betterment of ourselves. We want to have those strong, truthful relationships when someone's going to say, hey, this is what you're doing. But that's interesting, because I don't get a lot of people telling me about myself. They may say, what would they say? They say, well, they don't really say much of anything. They're usually asking me questions, but they never say, hey, you're doing this or you're doing that. I look for it. I welcome it when people say, hey, you're being this way, you're being that way. But people don't do that. That's interesting. Just a note to myself. Anyway, so yeah, just get used to it. Get used to not being used to it. And you'll be more happy. That's another thing, is you will be much more happy, much more content, because you don't have any expectations. You don't expect something to be this way all the time. You don't expect someone to be a certain way all the time. Even if something as small as a food item on a menu. Like, I used to go to California Pizza Kitchen, and that used to be my favorite place because they had this dish called the sausage pepper penne, and I loved it, and that's the only thing I would get. And then one day they didn't have it anymore on the menu, and but because it had just been taken off the menu, the chef knew what it was, and he would continue to make it. But after so many years, you know, you have your turnover, and you get new chefs and new cooks in the back, and they don't know anything about the old menu, and I can't get it anymore. I can't get it anymore. I can ask for it, then I have to tell them what it is, and I don't know exactly all, you know, that is inside of it. But so it's just like, okay, I had it, I experienced it, now I can't have it anymore, and now I keep it pushing. You know, you experience something else, and that's the, like, you know, that's what we're here for, is to experience different things, not just to find one thing and hold on to it forever, but to open ourselves up to things that we have never tried before that we may like. Because it's about variety. We can have any and everything that we want, and being that we can have any and everything that we want, we should know that there's other things out there to be had. That's the whole point. You know, change, improvement, expansion of self, you know, progression, change, become more bright, become more loving, become more creative. The more loving you are, the more creative you are, in a loving manner. You know, if you're dark, then yeah, you can be creative, but it's going to be dark. Just look at the music that's presented, or the movies that's presented. Look at, I mean, I was looking at, I don't know what's going on here. I was looking at movies, and I was like, oh, why are these things so dark? Like, all these movies are dark. You know, with, they had there was something on, what was it, Facebook? This lady did some kind of Halloween thing with her baby, had him sitting in a pail of red stuff that looked like blood, and had him chewing on some brain. And I was like, okay, why? Like, why? It was a human brain. I was like, why? Oh, because of Halloween. Oh, okay, so you do something that is, would you do it in spring? If you wouldn't do it in spring, then you shouldn't do it. But it was in the name of Halloween. It's like, okay, I'm going to do something that's really off-putting, but I'm going to do it because it's Halloween. And this is, you know, it's just dark. So when you have darkness within you, you allow yourself to create darkness. And the thing is, a baby is so innocent, you know. It hasn't learned a great deal. It's absorbed all the emotional injuries from the mom and the dad and its environment, but it really hasn't consciously picked up anything that is degrading. But we present all these things that are degrading, and then we wonder why our children are, you know, going out to schools and shooting things up, and going into malls and shooting things and people up. People ask themselves, why and how could this happen? You're why. This is why this is happening. You're responsible for this madness. Your children was, you know, your child was this innocent, you know, clean slate, blank slate, and you put all this bullshit in there by either neglecting or abusing. And neglecting is abuse, but I'm talking about actively doing things to abuse your child. And then, you know, that's why all this nonsense is happening. But anyway, I'm veered off track on that one. But just, you know, become aware of the things that you're used to, and understand that at some point it can be taken away. At some point your parents will pass away, and perhaps you'll pass away before your parents, and your parents will have to experience this. But understand that we're all going to pass away from this earth. We're supposed to. Not any earlier than we're supposed to, but we are supposed to move on. We're not supposed to be on earth forever. There's so much more to be experienced in the spirit world. And there's so many things that you can experience in the spirit world that you cannot experience here. So again, It's for our own benefit, our own experience, a betterment and experience. For us to see things that we can't see now. For us to see things that we don't want to see now. Because in the spirit world, we can see so much more. So much more of ourselves and other people. And to me, that's exciting. Not that I want to go and kill myself or commit suicide or anything like that. But I was looking at the news and something about Korea and its missiles launching from a submarine and they're testing and something, whatever. And I was like, I'm not even afraid. Like, I'm not even afraid. Afraid of what? Afraid of dying? Well, we're all going to go there at some point to the spirit world, so that's inevitable. So I'm gonna be afraid of something that's gonna happen anyway. If it happens any sooner, do I have any control over it? Maybe. If my soul condition is in a good place, I won't even be in a place if it were to happen. I wouldn't be in a place where it would be affected, is what I'm saying. That happens to people all the time. They were supposed to get on a plane, something happened, they couldn't get on the plane, they missed the plane went down. That's simple. You know, they're supposed to, go on a trip. It was a last minute thing. They weren't really invited for the trip, but hey, it was a last minute thing. They went, they got in a car accident and died. That's a law of attraction thing. You can't avoid it. Whatever your soul calls for, it's going to happen. So there's no reason to, get comfortable with this whole idea of, we're going to be on earth forever. Well, I know we're not going to be here forever. Therefore, I'm not tied to it. I'm not, when you have an expectation of being here forever, any idea or any threat to that idea of being here forever will create a bunch of anxiety, and you get frustrated, and you get, not frustrated, but you get afraid and scared, and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna die, and then you die in fear. Just welcome it. It's going to happen. Change, like I said, change is going to happen. And you're going to experience yourself in your spirit body. At some point, you're not going to be aware of your physical body anymore. You're going to be aware of your spirit body. Most of you are going to be like, most people on the earth are going to be like, what's going on? Some people won't even know they're dead. And see, it's like all these things, all these things, once you know what's going on, you know that things are going to change. Like everything about the spirit world means that you're not going to continually experience the earthly world. The fact that there is a spirit world means at some point you're not going to experience the physical world anymore. So why be tied to it? Why be tied to it? Some of you aren't even with your soulmates. If you're in a relationship, that shit's going to end. So why be tied to it? Relationships, friendships, like I said, they all come and go. Why be tied to it? Allow it to ebb and flow. Allow it to come and go. And the thing is, it's not about you allowing it. It's going to happen no matter what. What you're doing is being okay with the allowing of it. It's going to happen. That's all that I'm saying, is just be okay with the things that happen, because it's going to happen. Even the things that are unexpected are going to happen. Even the things that are going to happen because you're trying to make it happen. Expect it. But also expect for it to change from that. If you want to grow, sure, you may want to, you may be working at a fast food place or as a cashier. Okay, well, you may want to change positions. You may want to move up. You want more money, you want to move up. So expect that position as a cashier isn't going to last forever. It's going to change. That's my point. It's just everything's going to change, so be okay with the change. Whether it's up or down, be okay with it. Both are beneficial to you, because if you're changing and things are getting worse, that means that the experience is there for you to learn, to understand why things aren't getting better. That's all pain is to let you know that, hey, you're moving in the wrong direction. Let's move in a different direction. But first, before that happens, you have to find out why you're moving in the opposite direction of progression. And that's what the pain is for. That's what the suffering is for. It's just a reminder. Hello, you're going the wrong way. Wrong way. Wrong way. These signs on the street says wrong way, right? That's all pain and suffering is. So if you're doing something, if you're experiencing pain and suffering, you're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. It reminds me of Littlefoot. But you're going the wrong way. So, yeah, that's that. And I've said I was going to, put some pictures up that I was talking about. I don't know how to do that on the new app that I'm using for editing my videos. So that's why I didn't put stuff up when I said I'll post it on the video. So just FYI, but that's it for me, everybody. Have a wonderful Thursday. I probably won't make a video tomorrow. So have a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye now.